Okay, second day at the National Rail Museum today. I'm going to do the Great Hall. There's 4 A4s to show you, so I'm looking forward to that. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so we start with number 737 of the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. One of the prettiest looking engines, I think, in the National Rail Museum. It's a little dark, but I'm sure you'll be able to see everything. So I think it's one of the most best kept engines here because of the simple fact everything seems to be, well, look like it's brand new. I mean, it's decorated with numerous brass components. Even most functional things are decorated in the prettiest way, to be honest. So if you look, even there's lining all the way around the wheels, double line on the running board at the side there. It seems that they used about 5 or 6 different shades of paint. So like several different greens. There's yellow, red. To be honest, this engine's got practically every colour going. Even the S&CR logo. Just to the side of it's this exhibit, Japanese bullet train. I think this is one of the original 1963 Shinkansens. It's absolutely huge. See inside, it's got 5 seats across and a massive aisle. I mean, you compare it to the size of something like the 737, looks big on camera. This one's absolutely massive. It's like standing next to a 747 on wheels. See the pantograph right at the back there? This thing really is massive. And just to show you how massive, here's an inside shot of the coach. 5 seats across, aisle down the middle. This is absolutely huge. It's more like an airliner than a train, to be honest. And here we've got 2 of the more modern engines of the National Rail Museum. I say modern, they're about 55-60 years old now. The Class 76 Volvo electric locomotive, being used on freight services mainly. And next to that, Class 31, one of the early successful diesels. I think they're rated around 1,750 horsepower. Some of these are still in service. I think there's only 3 left though, and they're all with Network Rail. But you can see them on things like preservation lines, so it's nice to see them around. And here we've got Evening Star, almost the swan song for steam before Tornado was built. And there's several other projects on at the minute, but I'll get to them when they're built. Anyway, number 9220, built in 1960. The works in Swindon, used on the Western region. Massive 9F freight engine, massive amount of driving wheels on it. The only 9F to be painted in lime green, and the only one to receive all the copper pipework that you can see back there. I know it did the Scarborough Spar Express in the 1980s. Unfortunately, I've never seen it run, but to be honest, I would absolutely love to see it go. And around here, I hope it's you can see it because it is a bit dark around here. Is one of the interesting exhibits. The simple fact that even though this engine's preserved, this is Element Lines, it's a Merchant Navy class, rebuilt. Go around the other side, although it's preserved, the side's been removed so you can see the inner workings of the locomotive. Right all the front, whether from the tyre box and pistons at the front, all the way to the tender at the back. Now usually this is on a rolling road so you can see all the workings of the valve gear and pistons and everything. But I believe because the A4s are in, they've actually had to move it over here for now. You can still get a good idea of how it works though from here. And just shot of the valves and pistons there. So it was a 3-cylinder engine as far as I know, so there would have been one in the middle as well. Powering the front axle. Massive arrangement of boiler tubes there. Walk down, you can see the firebox. All the coal was burnt. See into the cab because that's been cut away as well. And the tender. Well, coal would have been in that area up there. Water would have been all the way around there. The same thing is one of the more interesting exhibits. According to the placard, it says 1949 this engine was built. So to be honest though, I think it's quite a good idea to do this. A bit educational. Next to Element Lines, you would have had something that would have run alongside it in real life. The Southern Railway's Q1, an austerity locomotive from during the Second World War, possibly one of the ugliest engines I've ever seen. But it was built completely for purpose. There was absolutely nothing on this engine built for looks. I mean, the boiler's telescopic, it's square, it's got no running plates down the side. It's all inside. It's an 060 tender engine, would have been used to pull freight. Even though it's dead ugly though, I can always appreciate something that's been used for purpose. I'm going to view the smoke box there. I think this is the only one of its class left as well, so it's nice that I've got to see it. Next to the C1, I didn't know this was here, we've got one of the most recognisable steam locomotives ever. Not an original, this is another replica. There's one in the workshop as well. This is Rocket. Simple 022 steam engine, right back from 1829, the remains of which are in the British Museum. I'd like to go and see it, to be honest with you, next time I go to London, if I can get to go. There's one of the original first class coaches. You tell it's first class because it's covered and it's got the windows in. One thing I always like about Rocket is the absolutely huge chimney on top of it, which is actually, looks like it's actually taller than the Q1. So this is actually a replica, and around the other side it's been cut away, just like Element Lines has. So you can see its inner workings, but you've already seen that. However, if you are interested, here's a quick shot. Part of the chimney been pulled away. The boiler tubes, I think it only had 25 boiler tubes, to be honest. The first engine to use the tubular boiler. A design that lasted for 160 years, till the end of steam. There's the firebox, tiny firebox. So the tender, that's not been cut away, but you can see the barrel for the water, and the coal just would have been kept on this area here. A nice tree here for you. It's a Pullman coach with matchboard side, topaz. These are the first class, high class. Basically, if you've got lots of money, you'll be riding on a Pullman coach kind of carriage. One built in Birmingham, in Smethwick. I don't know if all of them were built there. I know a couple were. If you go around to this side here, you'll find a unique exhibit. We've got a double Fairley. If you don't know what a double Fairley is, they were a narrow gauge steam locomotive running on a 2-foot gauge on the Festiniog in Wales. And the reason they're called a double Fairley is because they're a type known as a Garrett. They've got basically it's two engines stuck together. There's one over there and one here stuck together with the cab in the middle. The wheels is a bit dark. You can see just about make out a connecting rod there. It's on an articulated frame so it can go around tight corners. Cab in the middle. And another engine at this end. I know some of these, at least one I've seen is preserved on the Festiniog. I must admit I'd like to ride behind one, it'd be an interesting experience. Very beautiful little engine. Tried using these in America, they didn't work, so in the end they just started using scaled down standard gauge engines. Still, very nice exhibit. An interesting little piece for you. Unfortunately I can't get a very good shot of it. This locomotive, King George V, the King class of the Great Western Railway. If you look at the front of this engine, it's actually received a bell. In 1927 it went over to America, and it was the centenary celebration of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, and it was given the bell because in America you have to run with an electric headlight and bell, and although when it came back to England the electric headlight was removed, the bell was actually kept on it. And if it has an inscription, it was presented to them. So there's only a few engines I've ever seen in England with bells on them. Another one I'll be showing you later. Right, now the reason I'm here today, the A4s they've got on display. Worldwide there's 6 preserved, 2 of which have been in America but have come over for my lad's 75th anniversary of his speed record. They're going back in February. This is one of them, Dwight D. Eisenhower, number 6008. Went over to America in about 1964, and I can't quite remember which one it was preserved in. I think it was preserved, they've got a big boy in a GG1, that's all I know, I'm afraid. Very beautifully done. I think it's been repainted recently. It's in good condition. Don't think it's in running condition though, unfortunately, so it'd be a shame not to see it go and to come back to where it belongs. Well, it's going to be wonderful to see it when I finally get to see the second Great Gathering. Never got to see the first, so it's not the last time we'll be seeing this engine. And here we've got the LNR A4s. First we've got 4464 Bittern. Recently this engine did, I think it was 90.1 miles an hour in service. It's the fastest any steam locomotive has gone in preservation. So out of the 6 A4s remaining, 3 of them actually are record breakers. The other one being Nigel Gresley for the fastest post-war run. I think it was 112 miles an hour in about 1948. We'll be seeing that when the Great Gathering comes. This is a rather beautiful LNR livery. Last time I saw it, it was in the BR green. To be honest, I think the blue suits him much better. Okay, and over here, number 4489, Dominion of Canada. The last of the 6 A4s that I've got to see before I've seen all of them. You'll see this one again when I come to the Great Gathering. It's been repainted recently in the LNR Garter Blue. See if you walk down the side here. The thing I like about this engine, it's been given this nice silver metal strip there. It really suits the engine, to be honest. It's very, very shiny. Looks like they just polished it. So this is another one that doesn't run, but this was one that came over from Canada. Like Dwight D. Eisenhower, it was shipped over there. I think it was the Canadian National Railway Museum that had it. And when it came over, it was actually in very, very bad condition. It needed repainting practically immediately. So they did that. I think they did that here actually at the National Railway Museum. To be honest, I think it looks very nice. They've given, instead of painting the letters, they've given us chromed metal letters, it looks like. And the same with the number, apart from at the front, they've painted that on. So again, this one doesn't run, but to be honest, I think it'd be nice if we could get it going one of the days. I say one of the odd things I'll show you at the end is it doesn't have a British whistle. I think it's a Canadian one. Just walk around the other side. You can just see at the top there behind the bell. Again, bells and headlights compulsory in Canada, like America. There's the whistle. Never seen a whistle like that before, so I'm actually guessing it is a Canadian one. So nice to hear what that sounds like actually, because I know these usually have chime whistles, A4s. One more A4 to show you. That is of course Mallard right now. Nigel Gresley and Unit South Africa aren't here, but they will be here in a few weeks, so I'll be coming to see that. Here is of course number 4468. The reason all these A4s are here, the Great Gathering, sponsored by Hornby. You look downside, you can see the plaque. You don't know why this engine's famous. It did 126 miles an hour in 1938. This year is the 75th anniversary of it. You get a shot of the running gear there. Out of all the engines, I might have already guessed, but this is my favourite engine, due to my YouTube name of course. So I haven't actually got a model of Mallard at the minute. I'm planning to get one, so hopefully I'll be able to do a review on that for you soon. Look at the front, you've actually got some pipes hanging down. I've heard that they're not actually proper functioning ones, they're just so they can hook it up to a locomotive and pull it to another destination. I'll get another shot of it down the side now. And there's a shot of the fantastic looking nameplate, brass and black. Look down the side, you can see the plaque there. Get a nice close up of it so you can see it. So the very well kept running gear down here. I actually noticed something about this. Mallard's the A4 with the silver rims on the wheels. If you look on things like Dominion of Canada, the entire wheel is painted red. I'm not sure why they've done that. It's not a big problem, I just wondered why they've done it. And then here you come to the tender, with the number printed on. Walk down past the tender. I'll show you the thing that made it all happen that day. Well, the other thing that made it all happen. The dynamometer car of the LNER. Dynamometer car carries a 9th wheel, which doesn't actually support the coach in any way. It basically runs along the top of the track and records information on a piece of paper. And it's that piece of paper that basically tells you the speed of the locomotive, the power of the locomotive. And in that day it recorded a speed of 126 miles an hour. Well, they did it for 144 yards, but it did it. Anyway, one last shot for you today. I'm going to show you Flying Scotsman. But just before we go on to Flying Scotsman, just give you a quick shot of Green Arrow. It's a little dark in here unfortunately, but I hope you can see it. For anybody that doesn't know about Green Arrow, it actually doesn't run at the minute for the simple fact the central cylinder exploded a few years back. And unfortunately it's not been possible to fix it. It'd be nice if they could, because if they can build a locomotive for new like Tornado, surely they can get a new monoblock for Green Arrow as well. I've recently got a model of this. I've done it up for you. So I hope you'll be able to show it one of the days. Just walk down here. Green Arrow is a V2, class 262, designed by Nigel Gresley. The mixed traffic locomotive, said to be the engine that won the war. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, it's a shame that this is the only one of its class preserved. And as promised, for the last shot here today is Flying Scotsman. And yes, it's still in bits and it's still painted black. It hasn't got the smoke deflectors on or anything. These are the colours it would have been during World War II. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it round here. You can just about make the nameplate down there, although I can't actually read it. So yeah, Flying Scotsman won't be back in service till at least 2016. Let's go around the other side now. So every time they seem to fix one thing on it, another thing comes up. So hopefully they get it back to steam by then. If not, then well, to be honest, I think it would make a nice museum piece, because at least everybody able to see it then. instead of being stuck here in the workshops. I hope it comes back into service though. It's the only one of its kind, being how famous it is. I think it'd be a shame not to put it back into service. Anyway, that's my video of the National Rail Museum. I've not shown you everything, to be honest. There's hundreds of little exhibits here. So I'm going to leave you at that, but hopefully I'm going to start up a new YouTube channel. Put a link to that when it's set up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.